Milk Crate Moment. And today I have Lori Saitz.
Size.
Sites.
Mhm.
And Lori, so what I find so interesting about Lori is she doesn't need to know the next step. She just knows that it will appear. And listen, we should all be living a little bit more like that, taking that all in and having that faith that things are going to come the way they're supposed to come. So, Lori, I was welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited to talk to you. And so, one of the things that I always start with is what was your milk or what is your milk crate? Can you pick one milk crate moment, Lori?
I will pick one
Okay.
because, yeah, I think by the time you get to our age, there's many, but
Oh my gosh.
the
Yeah.
one that is jumping out for me right now is when I closed my first business. And similar, I think, to a lot of people's stories is I couldn't get that business to be profitable. I couldn't scale it the way I would have liked. And after 11 years of basically beating my head against the wall, like if I just send out this direct mail piece, if I just exhibit at this trade show, everything will change. And nothing was changing. And I had a very good friend who said to me, "This is like watching you in an abusive relationship."
Hmm.
And I let that marinate for maybe 6 months. And I finally decided she was right and I was going to shut the business down. And that's what I did. I said, "All right, I'm done." Even though I had a lot of raving fans, it wasn't enough to keep the business going. There was a ton of debt and a lot of debt that my husband at the time did not know about. And it just made sense to shut it down, as hard as that was, because that business was my identity.
Mm.
Like, who am I? If I shut this down, who am I?
Well, what's so interesting is you popped in came to the Second Act conference, right? In
Mhm.
October. And when I saw the name Zen Rabbit come up, I knew the name of the company. I knew that you produced really amazing cookies, right?
Mhm.
Because I had been a beneficiary of you had sponsored an event that I attended in West Palm Beach years and years and years ago, right? So when I saw the name, it's like Zen Rabbit, you do not forget that name.
That's
Right?
right.
And you had a product. I didn't forget the product either, right?
Mhm.
But what's interesting to me now, hearing this is what, and I don't know, so I'm going to ask you because I wasn't paying attention 12, 14 years ago, however long it was. Was there a way on that box of cookies, because they came in a little box,
Mhm.
was there a way to reorder them from that box?
The
Besides,
webs the website address was on the box,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So, okay, I just want, was there a call to action or anything?
I can't remember, and there were a couple of different boxes, but they all included a card with a motivational saying on it, and on the back of the card, it said, "What are you grateful for today?" So let's share with people what they were called gratitude cookies. The business
Okay.
they were called gratitude cookies, and kind of a cross between a butter and a sugar cookie based on a family recipe. And the idea was that people would use them, business people would use them to say thank you to their clients and people who sent them referrals. And so I don't know if you were a recipient of the black, there was like a retail kind of box that was it was black with like pinstripes, really smart, had a little handle. And then there was another one that was like a Chinese takeout box, a plastic Chinese takeout box.
I
But
want to
both
say
of them,
back, yeah.
yeah, both of them had those cards in them, and the cards had a logo or the website address on them.
Awesome. Awesome. I don't remember, right? Because I
Yeah.
was thinking as you were, you when you're at a conference, you eat the cookies and
Right.
garbage goes in, right? The
Yeah,
garbage.
and you may have gotten, depending on which conference it was, they might have just been not a box, and it might have been just the cookies, like a 2-pack in the
It might have
cello
been.
bags. Those had stickers on them, and the stickers always had the website on it as well.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
I have like 25 years of marketing background. I know.
okay, I
That's
just
why the company is called Zen Rabbit, and it's a name you never forget.
well, yeah, the name I never forgot, and I never forgot what the product was, and I knew the name, so I could have easily looked it up, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's one of those things that when they're gone and you don't
right,
see them again, right? So I
right.
do love the idea that you put a gratitude card or little card in there for something so that people would keep the card.
Yeah.
So let's go back and talk about that. So you were in business for a while. How long were
Mhm.
you in business?
11 years.
Okay. And is that the way you were marketing all of your products, was through sponsorships and things like that, getting them into consumers' hands?
That was one way. That
Okay.
was one way. I was using, um, public relations. Also, I had another product a few years in called Zen Crunch, and that was kind of like a granola. I don't even know how to describe it because nobody else was making it, but it was like a sweet granola crunchy snack. We got that. I say we, I had somebody helping me with PR. We got that on Rachel Ray as
Okay.
snack of the day, but that was not the right audience. All I got from that, aside from credibility, like, "Cool, you got on Rachel Ray." Yes, the product was, I wasn't personally. But I got a lot of people like, "Oh, I have a big family. Can you give me a discount? Do you have coupons? Can I get a discount if I order 3?" Like, "No." It
Yeah,
I
I get that, right?
it was much different than being on Oprah, which was my dream, but that never happened.
Which is so interesting because the name itself kind of lends
Mhm.
itself to an Oprah
Yeah.
product,
Oh,
right?
we tried.
I bet. I bet. So you're in this, you've accumulated some debt, which is very normal for small business owners, right?
Mhm.
It's not like you're special and you're the only one that got the
N
debt, right?
Nope, nope.
So how did you make that decision? Because that's a hard decision for people.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what was that next step? Like how did that happen?
It just felt like I don't have any more energy for this. I've done everything I feel like I know how to do.
Mhm.
And beyond just my knowing, I hired coaches, I had mastermind groups I was a part of. So I wasn't trying to go it alone.
Right.
And it just wasn't working.
Mm,
And I thought, I just, I'm out of options here.
right.
And so let me just shut it down and figure out what I'm gonna do next because this is untenable.
Yeah. What do you think the hardest part was about shutting it down?
The fact that it was my identity. Like, I would felt like I don't have any biological children, but it felt like I was killing my child.
Mm. I can see that, right? Because we become very connected to our businesses
Mhm.
and they we literally live and breathe them,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So I
and I think
understand that.
because I don't have any children, that was my baby, and so when I shut it down, it was like, "Well, who am I now?" Like, everybody knew me as Zen Rabbit,
Mhm.
which is part of the reason when I started another business a few years later, I was gonna name it something else, and I did in the beginning, but then I changed it back to being like Zen Rabbit version 2, 2.0, because people still remembered the name and associated me with it. And so to shut down something that had such name recognition and also as a marketer, I had branded it and I mean, it looked from the outside, it looked like it was $1 million business.
Well, I think that yay for you for doing that, right? Because nobody wants to do business with a company that doesn't look that way.
Right.
But I do also sometimes think that we can create such a big brand for our business that people think they can't afford us.
You know what? I think that one of the major issues, if I was to go back to that person again, who I was then, I wasn't charging enough.
Your cookies were free to me, so I don't know what you were charging, right?
Yeah.
And that might
Yeah.
be part of it. That is the number one business mistake small business owners make, is
Yeah.
not charging enough or charging for their value that they're bringing to the marketplace. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
That was number 1, and number 2, it took me too long to figure out who my niche market was.
Mm. Who was your niche market?
People in the financial services industry, so commercial insurance, financial advisors, I knew that part, but it took me a while to get there. But
Gotcha.
that part because they have ongoing business and the lifetime value of a client is very high for them. And that's what made them a good client. But even beyond that, those people who had assistants, like a virtual assistant, an administrative assistant, the people in that industry who had a dedicated administrative assistant, those were my best clients, because what I needed from them was I had a subscription program, and I needed them to send me the names and addresses of the 5 or 10 or however many they were signed up for every month.
Mm.
And if they didn't have an assistant, it was too easy for them to get too busy and not do it.
And then you had no sales, right?
They were paying for it,
Oh,
but
okay.
then I was still like, I still owed them 5 or 10 or 15 boxes of cookies, whatever it was,
Yeah.
but I was sitting on them, and it's like, well, don't message me, 6 months later and give me 60, like, they have a shelf life, you
Right.
know?
Right. 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 All right. So you've moved. So after you closed that down, what happened after that? What was the next step for Zen Rabbit?
So the weird universal timing, or not weird, everything's in perfect timing, is my mom at the same time, it wasn't because of, but at the same time, my mom was diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukemia and passed away 6 weeks later.
Oh my gosh.
So the timing was perfect in that I was the one at the time. I was living in Virginia, Northern Virginia, and she had lived in Florida. And so I was going back and forth and managing the estate and all taking care of her condo and all of those things for like 6 months after that. So the timing worked out pretty perfectly. I went and worked for someone else for a couple of years after that
Okay.
as a consultant. He wanted to hire me as an employee, and I was basically their director of marketing for a real estate company that was, they flip houses. But I wouldn't let him hire me as an employee because psychologically I didn't want to, so I had him paying Zen Rabbit as a consultant.
You did, well, I would imagine you just didn't want a job, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And high five for you because right? Who wants a job when you've been a business owner? Can you
Right.
imagine going back to a
No.
job where somebody's going to tell you what time you need to be here, what time you get to leave, what you can do and not do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that. All right, so you have Zen Rabbit still because that's still your
Mhm.
website. Where I'm gonna pop that up here for
Yeah.
people, right? So if you want, so I know I asked you, where did it go? Oh, here it is. I have to show it. There we go. It's like I've never done a podcast before, Lori. So you have Zen Rabbit. I asked you when we started, I said, "Hey Lori, do you have a free giveaway?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "It's on my website." So tell us what your free giveaway is.
It's called The 5 Easy Ways to Start Living the Sabbatical Life.
So tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so what Zen Rabbit has evolved into, and maybe the name is even more appropriate now, is I'm on this mission to teach the world to be calm and grounded no matter what's going on around you. And so I'm teaching tools and techniques for doing that. This download, this 5 easy ways, comes because a couple years ago, even even though I'm teaching this stuff, I look at my calendar for the first half of 2021, 2022, and like my head wants to explode. There's just so much stuff going on, and I didn't allow myself any time really to have downtime. Like I still did my meditation every morning as part of the morning routine, but uh, I would work from 9 in the morning till 10:30 at night. And again, because I didn't have anything else to do, I would just keep working, and it got to be overwhelming. And we don't all, okay. A lot of people buy into, especially entrepreneurs, buy into this whole idea that hard work equals success. And it's not true. It's a big fat freaking lie.
Well, what does it do? Tell
What
us
does
that.
what
So
does hard work?
yeah, no, what I heard you say is it's a big fat lie that hard work creates your success, right?
Yeah,
So
that working hard equals success.
yeah, so tell us about that.
What really creates success is allowing it to flow into your life. Now, allowing ease and flow, allowing in intuition, tapping into your intuition and following that, taking inspired action. It's not
Mm.
not taking action. Of course, you have to take action, but it's not like pushing a rock up a hill every single day. It's tapping into your intuitive wisdom and taking action based on that. And that feels easier, but it feels weird because we're used to I got to work, I got to work, I got to work all the time. I got to work hard. It has to be difficult. I know you love talking about how making things fun, but
Mhm.
that's also counterintuitive. For most people, we've been wired to believe that success has to be hard and it has to be a lot of work.
Yeah, and you're not necessarily gonna have fun in it, right?
Right.
Right, if you go to a
Right.
job, I never found one thing fun about a job, right?
Mhm.
I was always the one getting in trouble for having fun, but and they
Right.
claimed to put they'd put that on my permanent record.
Yes. Where do they
Yeah,
keep those permanent records? I never figured that out.
exactly, right? Exactly. Yeah, so I'm so happy to hear you say all of this because you are the second person this week that has told me exactly what you just said that and I knew that, right? I am
Mhm.
all about the law of attraction and bringing more to you, attracting what you want to you. But you're the second person I've talked to this week that talked about the fact that you don't have to, you have to allow it, and you have to take inspired action. I
Yes.
totally believe that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't. You can't just think yourself rich.
Right.
Law of attraction never said you think yourself rich.
No, it did
Says
not.
you have to believe it, you have to take action, and you have to feel it. You have to
Right.
feel as if it's already happened.
Exactly.
That's the
That's
part people
exactly
struggle with.
yes. Right. And so I also have I've created some meditations and I talk a lot in the 5 easy ways as well as in the programs that I do. My jam is gratitude and feeling gratitude for things that you would like to manifest before they've manifested. And so I
Yeah.
have this short meditation that is also free, but I don't want to confuse people. You if you go to the website and download the thing, I'll send you that as well. But how do you get into that feeling of gratitude for something that hasn't physically manifested yet? That's a challenge for a lot of people, like you just said.
Yeah, you have to decide, right? You have to
You have to
decide.
decide. Yeah. And in this meditation, I actually take people through feeling gratitude for things that have already happened in the past,
Mhm.
things you currently have in your life, feeling gratitude for those, and then moving to feeling gratitude for that which you are looking forward to bringing into physical form.
Wow.
And so if you can start from that place where you can feel like it's already happened and then move into feeling as if it's already happened
And grateful.
and grateful and it's on its way, that's how I ease people into feeling gratitude for what's coming.
Yeah. Oh, this you're talking my language, Lori. I love this. I love everything you just said. So, let's talk just a brief moment because you were just sharing with me right before we started today about your nomadic life.
Yes.
So tell me how that all came to be.
Yeah, at the beginning of October, I
Oh, it's
just
new.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
I left my apartment in Northern Virginia. I gave up my apartment. I sold most of my furniture, put whatever wasn't gonna fit in my car, and I do not drive an SUV. I have a sports somewhat of a sports car. Uh, whatever didn't fit in the car is in a 5 by 10 storage unit, and that's it.
Wow.
That's all I got. And I didn't know where I wanted to go. I'm thinking maybe I didn't wanna stay in Northern Virginia, although I still love it there, and that's where I consider home.
Mhm.
But I just was feeling restless, like, "Where do I wanna go?" But I don't know where I wanna go. So, I got the idea to start house sitting. There's a website that is a membership site, and people post if they need you to come and house or cat sit or dog sit or whatever. I love cats. I love all animals, but I really prefer to house sit for cats. And signed up, started at the beginning of October, and I've been all over. Yeah.
All over the country?
No, I'm kinda keeping it to, the Southeast.
Okay.
So when I was at your conference, I was already living nomad life. I just, yeah, came with,
Wow.
yeah.
That is so crazy. We were talking about the fact that it's few people that could go on an adventure like that, um, and do that and be because you look super happy. I'm not gonna lie. You look
I
really
am.
happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anywhere as long as I have my computer, my microphone, and an internet connection, I can run my business
Mhm.
and my podcast. I host a podcast too. So yeah.
I love it. I love, love, love it. All right. How I usually like to end this is, what is your one biggest piece of advice you would give an entrepreneur? I want to take it and make this based on what you were talking about.
Mhm.
What's the one biggest piece tell item you could give an entrepreneur whose business is struggling? They've been at it for a long time. They can't freaking figure it out, right? And not any necessarily any um, fault of their own, right?
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
any fault of their own. What would be your one biggest piece of advice to them?
Hmm. Usually when I'm asked this question, it is to get yourself into a coaching or actually a mastermind so that you are surrounded by peers who can support your success and support you when things are not going well, because every entrepreneur has that.
Mhm. Yeah,
And so that support system when things aren't going well, who can help you with ideas, who can, because you can't think of everything on your own. I mean, I was one of the things I did when I would beat myself up a lot when I shut down Zen Rabbit version 1 was because I'm a marketer and I couldn't market my own damn business.
and so many business owners can't, right? That
Right.
they have somebody who helps them with that, so that
Right.
because it's like it's us trying to do everything then,
Yeah.
right? You have
Yeah.
yeah. So I get
So get yourself into a some kind of support group, a mastermind, something that can help you, like I said, manage through the challenging times as well as celebrating every success, even the ones you think are not even worth of celebration. Because the more you celebrate what you are accomplishing, the more the universe gives you to celebrate. I missed that for a long time, that point.
yeah, right? The more you celebrate, the more you're grateful for, the more you get, right?
Yeah, right.
I think that's it right there in the
Yeah,
nutshell, right?
exactly.
Be grateful
Yeah.
for the business that you have when it sucks,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And I think the second thing I've more recently come to understand is this is going to be counterintuitive too. You have to think bigger. You have to think bigger because when you're thinking bigger, 10, there's that book, 10x is easier than 2x. And I freaking love that book. Um, when you're thinking bigger, you get much more focused on the the actions that will move you forward instead of being distracted by the 80% of things that are not moving you forward.
Right. All of those little details that as a
Yeah.
business owner need to be taken care of, and
Ye
you're the one who's taking care of them if you're a solopreneur, right?
Right, but they're not making you money, so
Right,
do they really need to be taken care of? Like, do you really need a five-page website? Like, that's a distraction
right.
from going out and selling your stuff.
I agree. Oh, I love everything you're saying. All right, I will let you go. I'm so excited that you showed up here today, and that we could do this and arrange that and be part of the milk crate moment. So thank you so much for sharing your milk crate moment.
My
I'm Jen
pleasure.
Kuhn. I help small business owners turn around their business and make more money. Have a great day, everybody.